Hello everyone, it's your friend, your boy, Jet Black the one and only, here with another exciting live stream. And in this video, I'm going to be talking about my day-to-day, August 11th, 2019. Today, I mainly woke up, exercised, showered, ate some peanut butter and jelly sandwiches, which I haven't done in a hot minute. I made a bunch of videos and posted them onto the YouTube channel. Make sure you check those out. I also hung out with my niece for a bit, and we played some Lego DC Supervillains, also on the channel if you guys want to check that out. Message with Beth throughout the day, as I always do. And I spent some time with my dad. We went back and forth, showing each other different rap music videos on YouTube. And yeah, that's pretty much my day in a nutshell. How are you guys doing today? Do you have any questions for your boy? And do you have any discussion topics you'd like to talk about on the stream? Give me one moment so I can get the live dashboard set up. That way I'll be able to see what you guys are saying in the live chat tool. I do know that I want to at some point do a video where I talk about the Full Force documentary that iDubbbz did. If you guys have not seen the documentary Full Force, I would highly recommend it. It is it's an unexpected story. I will say that. I feel like you'll start with the Full Force documentary and think you know what it's going to be about, and then I think you'll actually watch the Full Force documentary and go, "Oh, ooh, that is not what I thought it was going to be." So yeah, that's just something to keep in mind. So right now, I have the live chat set up on my TV. What I'm going to do now is edit the description and tags of this video to make it where I can ensure that you guys can find this video with the greatest of ease while it is live. I haven't done this in a hot minute, but since no one's really on right now, I think this is a good opportunity for me to edit it. As soon as I say that, somebody popped into the chat. Yo, welcome, it's good to have you. How's your day today? Do you have any questions for your boy? And any discussion topics you talk about on the stream? I shouldn't have said popping into the chat. They just popped onto the stream itself. Yo, this is like open territory. Feel free to like say whatever you want. You are the springboard for the discussion of which we will have. So whoever is currently watching, feel free to pop into that live chat, give us a topic that you want to discuss, or feel free to just tell us about your day or ask any questions. We can hit it up. Matt said, I just noticed something. You have been on time for once in your life with a semi daily video series. And then Matt said, no, no, no. So what do you mean I've been on time? Have I not been on time for the past few days? Like for the vlog? I've been trying to do like a daily thing, but a lot of time I miss Friday and I miss Saturday. But I think I've been pretty good with getting like every other day of the week. The reason why I miss Friday is because a lot of times I end up going to Station Retro, and the reason why I end up missing Saturday is because I normally have a date with Beth that just goes really late into the night. Then Matt said, I mean for stuff like fan polls and whatnot. What do you mean for stuff like fan polls and whatnot? So I haven't done a fan poll in like forever now, actually, if you think about it. It's been like a hot minute since I've done anything near a fan poll. Now I'm just starting to do like videos in general. I'll just do a video about a topic that I want to talk about, and I've been recently trying to keep my videos to like 5 minutes or so. I know that the vlogs are very intimidating for people. They're like a daily commitment if you want to like keep up with it, and they're like an hour a day. But I know that if I do like a quick 5 minute video about something that I would talk about on the vlog anyways, it gives people the opportunity to still hear my thoughts on a subject without having to be like, I gotta watch for an hour and see if he says anything. Matt said this particular set of vlogs from summer on has been relatively on time. Thank you. I'm glad that you've been vibing, Matt, and that you've been enjoying how the schedule's been so far, and that it's been consistent. I'm glad that I've been able to deliver the content on a regular basis. That's what I like to do and want to continue doing for the foreseeable future, like keeping it very regular. Speaking of the vlogs, how do you feel about the quality of the vlogs and everything? Do you feel like we've been having like good discussions? Do you feel like they've been enjoyable? Then Matt said, as opposed to all other forms of continuous video live streams, which have always been late. And then Kel said, hey, yo, Kels, welcome to the stream. It's good to have you. How's your day today? Do you have any questions for your boy? Do you have any discussion topics you'd like to talk about on the stream? Right now, we're having a meta conversation, more or less, where Matt is discussing the state of the vlog and how it has been. I already went over my day so far, and most of my day has been just recording stuff and putting it on YouTube. So you'll be able to see most of my day regardless. Matt said, "Stop having streams die and stop having bad opinions, and we are good." So, not imply, elaborate on what you mean by stop having streams die. And the second thing is, well, I already know what you mean by stop having bad opinions. Speaking of which, how do you feel about my recent opinion-based videos? I think I did a top 5 favorite video games list today. And I also did a video where I talked about the impact that I feel like E3 left, which was Star Wars games are cool, and that was about it. Let's see. Kel said, "Are you willing to do a custom card duel? I made a player armor deck." So in that video where I talked about Yu-Gi-Oh! And what Yu-Gi-Oh! Videos that I'm thinking about doing in the future, and what would like make me do a Yu-Gi-Oh! Video, I did like a whole video about that today, which I'm sure you watched. In that, I discussed how I am interested in doing more custom card content, but I think I want to do custom card deck profiles on custom card decks that I make. So I want to do more custom card videos that are like, hey guys, I've like already made a custom card deck. Here are the different cards, and here's what they do, and here's how you use them together. These cards are now available on Dueling Book for you guys to play with. Enjoy. And I want to do stuff like that. I'm not interested in really playing custom cards on Dueling Book. I really don't like that it's not automated. And I just prefer to be able to interact with you guys in the live chat. And I feel like focusing so much on the duel and like making sure that turns are going correctly and double checking the other person and making sure that the rules are being followed, it's just kind of too much. I prefer doing stuff like Dueling Nexus, and I haven't been doing Dueling Nexus because I haven't been inspired to make any new decks, because none of the new cards that have been coming out have been very good. If you guys want me to elaborate on any of those points any more than I already have, feel free to check out the 5-minute video I did that was talking about like, you know, what would make me start making more Yu-Gi-Oh videos again. Let's see. Matt said, "Random lag spikes in the stream." Well, I'm at Dad's. I just don't have control over that. You know what I mean? He said, "You weren't kidding. You went hard on video recordings today." I did. I dropped a whole bunch of videos today. And then he said, "Well, since you are here, elaborate on a few of those videos." So you want me to just tell you what the videos were and like talk about them? I can talk about them. It just seems interesting because, like I said, the whole point is so that people don't have to sit through like the hour vlog to hear me talk about all those subjects. They can just see those videos. But yeah, I can still talk about those videos if you want. There's no problem. And then Matt said, "Yeah." Give me one moment. Right now, I am editing this vlog, the vlog that you are actively watching, and making sure the settings are set properly. I think sometimes we get lower, it's weird to say lower ratings, but lower viewership, because I'll be I would have already done like a gaming video or something, and it knocks the category off for this video, so people will not get a notification because YouTube is like, that wasn't the vlog, but it was the vlog, but it'll be like, that was a gaming video instead. It's complicated, but by editing it now, I think we'll get more viewers because I think YouTube will send the notification right. Anyways, and then Matt said 5 favorite games. My 5 favorite games are as follows. I already talked about this in the 5 favorite games video, which you guys can check out. But they are Lego, oh, and this is in no particular order. Lego Worlds, Fable 3, Jet Set Radio, Batman Arkham City, Psychonauts. Those are my top 5 favorite games. Kel said, "I think the streams are good. I only ever have a problem when you abruptly cut off the stream when you could go on for like a few more minutes, but it doesn't happen that often." It's mainly because, so recently, me and Beth started dating, I think May 8th of this year. Beth and I end up spending a lot of time together virtually, through like talking over like Facebook, mainly that. Yeah, we mainly message over Facebook. But we also do things while we message over Facebook, like text and read, where we'll both be reading the same comic and we'll have like a discussion about it. We also talk about original stories, original characters. She'll talk about different like character concepts and stuff like that, and we'll discuss that together. Those are like the common interests that we really vibe on. And even if we have like nothing else to discuss, we can discuss those. But we also have deep talks where we'll talk about like the future and aspirations and stuff like that. And essentially, whenever I'm not working and I'm not doing like a video, I'm in some shape or form spending time with Beth, and Beth wants to get like as much time as she can, and I get that. I understand it. Um, but we have that 9 to 10 p.m. block dedicated to like spending time together and directly discussing, which I know you'd be like, that sounds like too much, but it kind of isn't because I don't message her when I work. So during the week, there's like a solid 9 hour block where I'm not messaging her at all, um, like every day. And then we spend Saturday together where we get the whole day then. Then Sundays I normally spend with my friends or with my family. This Sunday I spent it with my family. I hung out with my niece. Um, so we mainly get Saturday, and we get the messaging, and that's like about it. She has been trying to do more Friday hangouts though. So if I go to Station Retro, she'll like try to like come by to Station Retro if she can, stuff like that. Um, let's see where we at. Matt said, "I don't need all of them, only the interesting ones." So you're like, I don't want to hear about all the videos you did. I just want to know about the interesting videos. And then Matt said, "Give us an order on the games." I think it's hard to give an order on the games only because they're all very different. Also, my niece left her bracelet. Uh, she also is playing with my Heat Blast figure. I keep him just standing up straight on the table, and she like bended his legs around and stuff. I kind of use him like a statue until I don't, because I do like to play with action figures when I'm like thinking of new story ideas and stuff like that. Helps me imagine it. Um, but I don't have a particular order for the top five favorite games thing. I could give an ordered list in the future, but I'd have to give it a lot of thought. Because the games are all so different, I feel like it's harder. If my top five favorite games were genre specific, I think it would be easier for me to give an order because it would be easier to just compare them to each other, if that makes sense. Matt said, "Why is Lego Worlds in the list and not Sonic Adventure Battle 2? When you actually have a childhood with Sonic Adventure Battle 2?" Because I understood what you were saying the other day when I mentioned that Sonic Adventure 2 was one of my favorite games. Because I think you're right. Like, Sonic Adventure 2 isn't like a masterpiece. I just really liked it and I played it a lot as a kid. But as an adult, I haven't went back to Sonic Adventure 2 and gone, I have to beat it now. You know what I mean? It's not one of those games that I went through and I was like, I have to make sure that I like finish this game. But every other game on that list is a game that I like played to completion and I enjoyed it, and I either put hella hours into it or I've beaten it multiple times. And that's true for all five of those games. Let's see. So then Kel said, "It's fine if you don't want to do duels. I thought you'd be interested because it was a custom card deck using an archetype you made that I made support for." And I appreciate that. I do think that's really cool, Kels. It's just a thing where I just feel like duels that are not automated take away from the live chat interaction, I think, pretty heavily. It's just because, like I said, I have to focus on so much that's like going on while also doing the live chat. Where I think automated duels, I don't have to worry as much about human error on my part or on my opponent's part. That there's no part of it where I'm like, oh, I have to make sure they're following rules as written, and I have to make sure I'm following rules as written because I can't break them, and neither can they if it's automated. Let's see. Matt said custom cards are broken and ultimately very limiting in the grand scheme of things. I don't see how custom cards are limiting. Um, I know that there are a lot of people who like to make instant win condition cards and stuff like that, but it really depends on who you're playing against. You know what I mean? I feel like most people aren't trying to have uber broken decks. A lot of people are just trying to make the things that they wish were in the game or trying to incorporate things from other media into Yu-Gi-Oh. Let's see. Kel said, "My favorite game of all time is Danganronpa V3 Killing Harmony." I don't know if that's version 3 or volume 3, but you have mentioned many times that you're a fan of Danganronpa. and you have the little bear as your icon. I originally thought it was a sneaker, but I learned over time that it's a bear. Matt said, I feel better picking a top game for each genre since I come to each genre for different things. I understand where you're coming from. I do think a top five list where it's the best game from like five individual genres is just better. I do think that is just a better top five, and I could potentially do something like that in the future. I think it would be more interesting actually for me to do a top five that is done in such a specific way, because I think my current top five has a lot of action adventure games. I'm not sure if anything in my top five wasn't an action adventure game. You could argue Jet Set Radio isn't an action adventure game, and I think you'd probably be right by saying it isn't. But I think everything else falls in that category in some way. I could be wrong though. Let's see. Do. Matt said rather than having a top five for everything. That being said, genre is more a broad term than what I'm speaking about, since I would split platformer into like five different subgenres. That's interesting, and I understand where you're coming from with splitting platformer into so many subgenres because of the fact that you have like 2D platformers, 3D platformers, you have stuff that's like collectathons, which you could say are their own category because the objectives that are being set are kind of different than some other platformers where it's just from getting to start to finish and different things like that. So yeah, there are 2.5D platformers. There's a lot. So I understand where you're coming from. Kel said, well, Matt, I think custom cards have a lot of potential for new and creative ideas, but it's hindered by broken joke cards and people who don't understand card anatomy and balance. I understand where you're coming from, Kels. I agree with both your points. Matt said Jet is also pretty lazy, which is why he can't stand Dueling Book. Well, one issue that I have with Dueling Book in particular is because nowadays I only really have that 1 hour a day to do like a big stream. A lot of times, if I want to get multiple videos in a day, I have to do those smaller, like 5 minute videos, and then I get like that hour stream. So I don't know how I would really fit in like a dueling book thing. Plus, I wouldn't really want to. I would prefer dueling Nexus. I have always preferred dueling Nexus. I just think book isn't really that good. Then Matt said V is for volume. He didn't say it like that. He said V equals volume. Kel said the V is the Roman number for 5. So technically it's 53. Then Matt said, I don't think Danganronpa is using Roman numeral 5 over V for volume. Then Kel said, no, Matt, I played the game. It's 5. Then Matt said, is it really? But why? It sounds like it's Danganronpa 5 part 3, I guess. And then Kel said, yeah. And then Matt said, what was Danganronpa 2 called then? Kel said, I can explain, but it requires spoilers. How does the title require spoilers? I don't even want to know. Then Matt said, neither of us care. Ah, oh, Kel said, okay, I'll explain. What's happening? I'd rather not know. I'd rather not know. It sounds weird for it to be like the title requires spoilers. It's like, nope, no, I'm good. I'm good on that. That is information that is not required. Um, One thing I would like to talk to you guys about, I was gonna do a 5 minute video on this, but I'd rather do it now, I guess, is Full Force. It's a documentary that iDubbbz, of all people, did, where he visited a famous YouTuber and we got a look at his life. And it actually is a really good documentary. I kind of want to give a summary of the documentary if you guys would be interested. Um, it's going to sound really weird because it is. And I think you guys are going to be surprised at what the documentary is really about in the end. Matt said, Jet, when will you ever play Danganronpa? Probably never, which I think is in large part why I don't want a long explanation for why Danganronpa V3 Killing Harmony's title is a spoiler. Like I think that makes me care less about the thing. Matt said, "What was the E3 video going for?" So the E3 video, in that I essentially talk about how I wasn't really impressed by this year's E3, and that the only games that really stood out to me were the Star Wars games, oddly enough. And I talk about how like I'm not really even super into Star Wars, and I talk about the little bit of Star Wars that I do like, and I explain that the things I do like about Star Wars are what get me hype about Star Wars Jedi Fallen Order, and that the real reason why I'm hype for Lego Star Wars The Skywalker Saga isn't because of Star Wars stuff as much as it is like, oh, this kind of reminds me of like a Lego Worlds kind of thing. And like that's pretty much what I go into. If you want me to elaborate any more on that, I did a whole 5 minute video. Kes, Kel said, well, since Jet doesn't want to know, I can DM you on Discord if you really want to know, Matt. Matt said, I don't really care, Kels. I probably wouldn't read it in Discord. I mean, at least you're being honest, Matt. I was just surprised that you said that because you were the one who asked him in the first place. So I was really surprised when you're like, I wouldn't read it. It was like you asked the question, you inquired further. Kel said, yeah, Jet shouldn't play Danganronpa. It's not his type of game. Understandable. Then Matt said, it will remain a mystery forever because of Jet. And then Kel said, lol. Then Matt said, Jedi Fallen Order is just a worse Force Unleashed. I don't think we can really say that until it comes out, right? It could just be better, as far as we're aware. I don't know. Um, Speaking of Star Wars, I want to tell you guys about that Full Force documentary. I'm actually really hyped. It's a topic that I really want to discuss, but I'm not sure if I should save it for a 5 minute video. I wanted to do the 5 minute video today, but right before I was going to do it, my dad called me into the den and we watched a whole bunch of music videos together. So I didn't get a chance to make it, but I was going to make that video today, and I was really hyped for it. Let's see. Matt said Jedi Fallen Order. Oh, I already read that. Matt said, was the Star Wars game in the title Lego Star Wars? Jet, that isn't new. Um, I didn't put I didn't put any game names in particular in the title. I think the title of that video is E3 2019 New Star Wars Games Announced. And Lego Star Wars: The Skywalker Saga, I will say, is new because it's not like a remaster. They're like completely redoing all those games and they're making it open world to the point where you can fly ships off the planets and travel through space to other planets. And there are random encounters that you can have on each planet, but you can also have random encounters in space. And they're having it where you can have side quests that you can do on planets. I'm not sure if you can do space side quests, but I think you can. So it just makes it feel like a much more in depth experience. Matt said, from the gameplay videos that we saw at E3, Fallen Order and Force Unleashed are similar, but Im- that does not necessarily imply that Jedi Fallen Order is just a worse Force Unleashed. And the gameplay videos that we saw may not encompass fully what the experience will be like for the final game. Time will tell. I will say one video that I do need to make is about Dream or Dreams. I can't remember which it's called, but it's a game that's being made by Media Molecule, the creators of Little Big Planet, that I've been anticipating the release of for what feels like ages. But I'm really excited for that game, and I do want to eventually do a video where I talk about it. They essentially have taken the idea of creating a game where players can create their own game inside of the game and then share it with other people who can play it to the next level. It's like far beyond Little Big Planet and what it is. And the type of stuff that I've seen people create in Dreams, it is Dreams with an S, um, is actually really interesting. You can create like full songs, and you can also just create like animations, and you can create levels, and you can do all sorts of things, whether it be like platformers or shooters or like top down adventures. They give you so much creative control, and it's really interesting to watch people just make stuff in it. Um, but I could do a video about dreams, which is the equivalent of me saying I could go on for 5 to 10 minutes just talking about dreams. So I'm not gonna make the whole video be like that. Let's see. Matt said also if those were the two games in that E3 video, then the title is and then the title is clickbait. I don't think the title is clickbait. E3 2019, new Star Wars games announced. Those were two new Star Wars games announced for 2019 at E3. Then Matt said, was the E3 video just those games' impact or E3's impact as a whole? So the way that I start that video is I talk about how I feel like I wasn't blown away by anything at E3 except for like those Star Wars games. Like those are the ones that I'm interested in. Ryan said, no pain, no pain. Yo, Ryan, welcome to the stream. It's good to have you. How's your day today? Do you have any questions for your boy? Do you have any discussion topics you'd like to talk about on the stream? Right now, Matt is asking me about some videos that I uploaded earlier today, and Kells, I think, is mainly just listening at the moment. Then Matt said, Jet, E3 happened 2 months. Saying new games announced is clickbait. Those games were announced at E3. I don't know what you're talking about. E3 2019, new Star Wars games announced. I feel like the E3 2019 helps to clarify that I'm talking about the new Star Wars games that were announced at E3 2019. They were announced then. Then Ryan said, Jet, you are losing dick power by not playing Yu-Gi-Oh! Did you see my reply to your comment about Seto Kaiba's sex drive that you put on my Yu-Gi-Oh! Video that I did? Let's see. Matt said E3 2019 has a break between the other topic. That's to show that it has to do with E3 2019. But the subtopic is the focus. Let's see. Then Ryan said, play Yu-Gi-Oh! For Beth. Then Kel said, Jet, are you willing to do death battle thingy? I got a rather strong character I really want to talk about. Yes, I am willing to do death battle thingy. Speaking of which, a new Death Battle X came out today. It was Spawn versus Venom. Did anybody watch that? And Kels, tell us more about your character. Hit us up. I want to do that 3 sentence thing that we've been doing before. 3 sentences. But feel free to give us any additional information. But for the sake of the fight, the 3 sentences. Matt said they are effectively two different topics with how it is broken up. I don't know about that. Then Matt said, you should have used a colon instead of a break. I don't think it matters as hard as you think. You know what I mean? The break is just what I use for most of my video titles, by the way. Like, even the vlog uses the break. It's just what I normally do. Matt said, finally, I thought you liked Hover, even though it was a bad game. What happened? So, in the video where I say why I don't like Hover, I explain for 5 minutes why I don't like Hover. To summarize it, I would say that in Hover, the stakes feel lower for everything. Like it doesn't. In Jet Set Radio, when I was a little kid, I actually was like kind of afraid of getting caught by the police in Jet Set Radio. I was like, man, if they like actually catch up to me, they're gonna like fuck me up. Like it's like a problem. And Hover, if you get caught by their little drones, they teleport you to the start of whatever your level was. There's no real penalty. You don't really lose anything. So the idea of it being like a chase and you have to like get away, it's just kind of lost upon Hover. By the way, that whole video where I talk about why I don't like Hover, the reason why I made that video is because Hover is heavily advertised as like the spiritual successor to Jet Set Radio, and Jet Set Radio is one of my favorite video games as a kid. So then when I bought Hover, I was really excited to have like new experiences in a new world that were reminiscent of Jet Set Radio. And what I found is that there were three key things from Jet Set Radio that were missing in Hover, where I feel like Hover kind of misses the point. So that was one of them. The like feeling of like danger and excitement that was in Jet Set Radio is just kind of not there in Hover. That was one. The second thing is mobility and movement and general fun felt from the gameplay. So in Jet Set Radio, you never felt like your character was moving super slow unless you were hurt. And that was like your punishment from getting hit too much by like police officers and like missiles and shit. The idea is that you're gliding around on these super powered roller skates that allow you to grind on literally anything, and you're in all these environments where you can essentially grind on everything, and it allows you to kind of just speed through levels and have a lot of fun just jumping from grind rail to grind rail. And the way that they created difficulty for grinding is that sometimes the jumps would be very difficult. You know what I mean? So Hover, instead of being a game that focuses on like smooth, fun, and fast movement through like a big world that has plenty of things for you to take advantage of to grind on in order to build speed and rocket through everything, it's like a parkour game. Like it feels less like a spiritual successor to Jet Set Radio and more like a spiritual successor to like Mirror's Edge. It's a lot of like running up walls and like vaulting off of stuff. And I'm not saying that parkour isn't cool, but when I think Jet Set Radio, a game that is not parkour at all, I don't think of parkour. You know, so a lot of the fun that you could have had in Jet Set Radio just by moving around, like not even doing anything else, is lost in the gameplay of Hover because it's not based on you just being able to grind on anything. You know what I mean? So the last thing that I really didn't like about Hover, again comparing it to Jet Set Radio, the music. I'm not saying that Hover has bad music. I'm saying the way that Hover presents its music and the variety of tracks that it has is kind of poor. Jet Set Radio is to this day praised by many for like its very varied soundtrack and its presentation of such. I like the fact that the soundtrack in Jet Set Radio is your characters literally listening to a radio station and the songs kind of flow into each other and that you have many different genres of music like a radio station. And at any one stage, you can hear a ton of different songs because it's provided to you in that like radio station setup, and you're not just hearing the same thing over and over and over, which is essentially what Hover does. Hover, instead of having the radio station, was like you get one song per location you're in. So if you're in a certain location in Hover, you hear just one song, and that's it, just the whole time. And then if you start a mission, that mission will have one song that'll loop. So the only way that you can hear different songs is by going to different places or by starting up missions. And then for each mission and for each place, you only hear one track. And it's just repetitive and it's not that good and it's lazy. I would have liked. I feel like if you're gonna do a spiritual successor to Jet Set Radio, you don't fuck with the music. I mean, come on. So I just feel like there are a lot of reasons why I don't really fuck with Hover. It's not really that good. Okay. So Ryan said, Jet's power to see the future is diminished. Then Kel said, he's a JoJo character, of course, and his name is Weather Report, with the stand of the same name. Here's his power. Why is his name and his stand's name the same? That sounds kind of confusing. Matt said also Janimba. And he said also a literal tank in a fighting game. So Janimba seems interesting. I could do a video where I talk about Janimba, but it would be coming from someone who hasn't played as him. It would just be like observations that I've made based on like watching like Globku talk about Janimba. I would just prefer you guys look up Globku. Look up Globku. He has a video where he has multiple videos where he talks about Janimba being in Fighter Z. I'm not a good person to talk about Janimba until I like actually play with Janimba a little bit. Let's see. Ryan said Jet not playing Yu-Gi-Oh as like Obama's tan suit controversy. Then Matt said also Jet buy the Fighters DLC. The game that I'm currently there are two games that I'm thinking about buying that are already out. Fantasy Strike, which would be like $20. Fantasy Strike is a fighting game that was designed by like a guy who's really into competitive fighting games, who was like, I feel like fighting games are a little too hard for non-fighting game players to get into, and he's like, I don't think they really have to be that hard for them to still be competitive. He's like, I think fighting games can be easy to learn, hard to master. So he made this game, Fantasy Strike, where there are no special inputs. So every character has two special attacks and a super, and they're all mapped to be one button things. So if you want to do your first special, you hit the special 1 button. You want to do the second special, you hit the special 2 button. You want to do your super, you hit the super button. And you can also, your specials do different things when you're in the air versus when you're on the ground. So you can do like a jump special versus doing like a on the ground special. And then he has like attacking, of course. I can't remember if there's a block button or if you just hold back. And then you can either jump with a button or by pushing up on the stick, and that's it. There's also this Yomi counter system that they have where grabs can do like hella damage, but if someone tries to grab you and you don't hit any buttons, that's how you counter a grab. It's by hitting nothing. Um, and I'm actually really interested in Fantasy Strike. I feel like it could be like a really fun game. I like the fact that it has a very low barrier of entry, but I've seen people play it competitively, and even if it's easy to play, I do feel like he has a point where it's like it still is about how good you are at those games. It doesn't matter that you don't have to do a billion buttons to do your special move. You still have to use it like wisely. You know what I mean? And there's still resources, so it's not like you can infinitely spam specials necessarily. Um, but what was I thinking about? Oh, Fantasy Strike is one game that I'm interested in getting, and the Lego Movie 2 video game. I already did a video talking about the Lego Movie 2 video game. I watched a couple reviews for it today, and I'm like, oh shit, is this Lego Worlds 2? A lot of people were telling me I should have checked out the Lego Movie 2 video game while I was playing Lego Worlds. And I'm like, nah, I don't think I'd be interested in it. And then I watched some reviews about the Lego Movie 2, and then I'm like, oh snap. Excuse me. Is this Lego Worlds but with licensed characters? That's kind of what I wanted for Lego Worlds 2. And it seems like it is Lego Worlds with licensed characters, but it's dumbed down really hard. So you don't have procedurally generated worlds, you have a very limited number of worlds, and they don't have varied biomes. Each world is just one biome, and then you can play as and do missions for a ton of different licensed characters like Batman and Cyborg and shit like that. Um, and I think it would be a good game. And they give you one custom world. They give you one world where you can kind of build whatever you want and do what you want, similar to Lego Worlds. But in Lego Worlds, you could make as many different worlds as you wanted. And Lego Movie 2, you just get one world. And then you can still customize your character, similar to in Lego Worlds, where you can make your own custom guy. And I'm like, yeah, that does just seem like it was Lego Worlds 2, but they made it a movie tie-in, and that's why I'm kind of pissed. Because they could have just made it Lego Worlds 2 and it not made it like it's directly related to the movie. The fact that I can make my own character and just play as them the whole thing, and that for the most part, um, it kind of is its own thing anyways. I don't know. It just should have been Lego Worlds 2. But I think that's probably the next game I'm going to buy. I'm just really hyped for it. Let's see. So Kel's describing his character weather report. He can fully manipulate the weather, can control the ozone's layer, and can make people think that they are turning into snails using subliminal messages. He does this by manipulating the sunlight. He also summons rainbows that turn you into snails if you touch them. What the fuck? He can fully manipulate the weather, can control the ozone layer, and can make people think they're turning into snails using subliminal messages. He does this by manipulating the sunlight. I think your second sentence, where it says he does this by manipulating the sunlight, throws me so hard. I'm actually so confused. Is that supposed to be like his limitation? Like, is that like his weakness? Is the idea that if there is no sunlight to manipulate, or if the sunlight is being blocked, that he doesn't have any of his abilities? Because when you say he does this, is that how he does the subliminal messages? Is that how he does literally everything? Like, I don't know. But that sentence is so short and so vague. Like, if this was defined, then I think I would get it. But because this isn't really defined, then it's just kind of weird. Um, and I don't fully understand how his powers work, but that doesn't really matter. Uh, he does this by manipulating the sunlight. Can he manipulate sunlight that's reflected off the moon? Because if so, then he could also use his powers like at night. But it seems like he couldn't necessarily use his powers like indoors, where it's just only artificial lighting. Matt said, "Thanks for going from here's a summary of why I don't like hover to here's the 5 minute video for why I don't like hover. Now I don't have to watch the video." And he said, "So Kels, how the heck do snails have anything to do with the weather? I do think that was pretty random." And then he said, "Also, Shadow Darkgale still stomps?" Well, Matt's whole thing about Shadow Darkgale is his character enters the darkness, which Matt considers to be another dimension for some reason. But then he also is like, but the darkness has its own rules of who it accepts and who it doesn't. And it's like, well, that doesn't make sense. You're just kind of adding stuff now. I feel like a dimension hopping person should just get around the darkness thing. But you seem to say that like, no, no, that's not how it works. It's like that should be how it works. Like if the darkness is its own dimension, if someone's whole power is they can travel to other dimensions, they should just be able to go there. That's their power. That's what that allows them to do. Um, but I do think that in order to really get Matt, you probably do need to have a character who's like interdimensional in some shape or form, or someone who's able to prevent interdimensional travel. Because then Matt could be like, I enter my shadow, and it's like, no, you don't. My character's whole thing is that you just can't do that, and it's like, oh shit, because Matt just kind of runs away, and then he's like, I'm in this other dimension, but I can still attack you with darkness constructs, because everything, a shadow is darkness. So if there's any shadows around, I got you, and if there's no light, there's darkness, which means I can use that to get you. So you're never safe. But I'm safe because I'm in the darkness dimension. But I feel like if you could just also go to the darkness dimension, you could probably take him. Uh, that's my take. Let's see. Ryan said snails sew up after it's rain. Snails sew up after it rains. Then Ryan said, one time I had a dozen snails on the front porch after it rained. They're all trying to go in. Did you let them in? Kel said, I don't know. Ask Araki, the guy that makes JoJo. Then Matt said, Jet, what about the literal tank in a fighting game? So, please elaborate on the literal tank in the fighting game. Then Ryan said, Double Decker Couch DLC, Lego Worlds 2 Electric Boogaloo. Just open holes in the ozone layer to irradiate fools. Escanor, about to get that ass. Then Kel said, if there's no sunlight, he can't do the snail thing. He can still do everything else without sunlight. So the only limitation you put on him was for like one of his powers. It just seems like your character has a lot more pros than he has at cons, which I'm not saying is like the worst thing in the world, but it makes him kind of unbalanced. Let's see. Then Kel said, I think he can do it at night, but I'm not sure because he only did it during the afternoon. Then Matt said, wait, this isn't a fake character, Kels? This is a real character? And then Kel said, yeah. So Kels isn't necessarily doing who would win OC battle. He's just like, here's like an established character. Who do you think like roughs him up? Let's see. Matt put up a question mark, confused by Kels using real characters. Ryan said Shikamaru can't use his shadow powers in the dark. So Matt's whole thing is darkness, and he's like, shadows are darkness, but darkness is also its own thing. Then Matt said Cross Tag Battle has a literal tank and is getting its season 2 of 9 new characters, including surprisingly a new Ruby character. So when you say it has a literal tank, do you mean a literal tank as in it's like a guy in a tank and it's just a tank, like the vehicle, like the army vehicle? Also, Beth is interested in playing Cross Tag Battle. She's actually very interested in playing Cross Tag Battle. I showed her the cover of a Blaze Blue game that wasn't cross tag, and I was like, "What do you think of these character designs?" And then she was like, "Yeah, they seem okay." And then I mentioned that there were a few like kind of Neko-esque designs, and then she was like, "Oh, that seems like way cooler." And then I showed her cross tag, and she was like, "Nani?" And she got really hyped for it. So I don't know. I don't think I'm getting cross tag anytime soon. Maybe if we head over to like Collins at some point, we could play cross tag if Colin was down. Then Matt said, "No, it's just a tank, a sentient tank. Nobody's driving it." That's cool. I actually really like sentient machines. That seems like right up my alley. For interest, not necessarily play style. Sounds like it's very slow, but hits really hard. So we'll see. Why? Is it from? What is it from? Let's see. Right now, Beth is reading the Black Cat comic book series that's being published by Marvel. There are only like 3 issues of the series so far, so I think she's trying to get caught up. Doo-doo-doo. Let's see. Matt said it takes up half the screen and reaches everywhere. I'm sure that means it has a big hitbox though. Kel said, I think Weather Report can beat Matt's Shadow Guy because he can just make it sunny outside, assuming the fight is during the day. So Matt's shadow abilities allow him to merge into darkness, and he defines shadows as also being darkness. If there are physical objects about and there is light, then shadows exist, meaning Matt can always just jump into his own shadow, worst case scenario. And if there's no light, then it's all darkness, so then he can just use that. So Matt has himself put in a situation where there can never not be shadows, so he can always use his powers. Well, there can never not be darkness because shadows count as darkness. Let's see. Ryan said, "Tell Beth to read Lore Olympus." You actually already recommended Lore Olympus to Beth. You mentioned that before. Then Matt said, "You can juggle the tank." That that sounds like a fighting game. Let's see. Beth asked me if I would ever roleplay as Spider-Man. Um, I am not a fan of, how do I phrase it? I don't want to wear a Spider-Man costume. Uh, I'm not saying that Spider-Man has a bad costume, but it's just not my style. Let's see. Matt said the tank is called Blitz Tank, and it's from Akatsuki Blitzkampf. A character from Blitzkampf is actually an Underknight. Oh, so it's like an Underknight thing. Huh. Kel said Weather Report can make clouds around him, so if Matt or his shadow constructs attack him, they would be set on fire from the air resistance. But I'm not sure if the darkness being set on fire matters to Matt for real. Oh, I suppose. One moment. Yeah. Let's see. So, Matt said Blitzcomp came before Under Night. Understandable, but I'm saying it fits in the cross tag because it has some relation to Under Night. Also, Matt, hit me up with some names of Blaze Blue characters who are like part animal. Beth really likes designs like that, and I'm horrible with names. So I'm like trying to get her into Blaze Blue, and I know the characters who she'd really vibe with, but I don't know. I don't know anybody's name. I know Makoto. I'm about to send her a picture of Makoto because I think she'll vibe. Do 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 do. But if you guys know any other Blaze Blue characters who are like part animal, hit me up. Let's see. You might like Blaze Blue's character designs. Here is a picture of Makoto. Then Kel said, Matt, would Fire get rid of the shadow dudes? Fire would get rid of his shadow clones because Matt defines them as one-hit clones, but Matt doesn't have to make clones. He can make stuff like a sniper rifle. He's mentioned that before, out of darkness, and it just shoot a bullet from a distance. He can do stuff like that. Okay, so I just sent a picture of Makoto to Beth. I think she'll like it. Matt, please help. I can't remember people's names. I remember that there's a cat chick who wears a hoodie. I don't remember her name. Oh, cool. If you just type in Blaze Blue Cat Lady, you get Kokonoe and Taukaka all at once. So it just works. What's a good Taukaka picture? I want Beth to like the character design, not to hate it. Taukaka is somewhat nightmarish depending on the pose. Here is a picture of Taukaka. Her name, I don't know how I expected it to be spelled, but I guess not the way that it is. But I do think your air resistance clouds that ignite the shadow clones would kill the shadow clones one hit. That just makes sense. Because they're one hit clones. So that would be that one hit that gets them. I'll look up Kokonoe to get a better picture than what I got from just searching cat lady. Kokonoe. What's the best Kokonoe picture? To be honest, probably the one that I was going to send to her before. Yeah, it's just a good picture. Thank you, Google. Consistent search results are consistent. Kokonoe. Gosh. What is that? What is that? Don't you hate it when you copy an image URL and it's just garbage? It's just a huge, gross link. Facebook doesn't even want to recognize that it's a picture. Why? Why? And that's like the best Kokonoe image. I gotta find a different one. Kel said if Matt hides away, Weather can summon a light mist around the area, and he can sense any disturbance in the mist. Weather cause also use it to sense projectile. Oh, he can also use it to sense projectiles. Okay. That sounds like you'd be able to react to his sniper bullet thing. Or at the very least, you'd be able to know it was coming. Would you be able to do anything about it before it hits you? I guess that would be the question. Are these not recognized as links by Google? Nani? I need a picture of Kokonoe. Hey. Cool. This will work. So let's scroll down and see what people say. Ryan said, just use the UV radiation from opening up a hole in the ozone layer. Then Kel said, also, he would be able to deflect or dodge bullets because he's light speed. Why is he light speed? That wasn't in his description. All you need is like a couple of commas to just fit another power in there. Then Ryan said, cook 'em. Then Matt said, so currently we're sitting at 6 franchises in Crosstag, as Senran Kagura also now has a character. Also, I was gone for a bit. What happened? I was asking you for character names from Blaze Blue, but then I found all the characters on my own. I'm trying to get Beth into Blaze Blue, so I'm showing her like character concepts that I think she'd like. So I sent her a picture of Makoto, Tao Kaka, and Kokonoe, because I think she'll like all three of those characters. Let's see. Matt said, but can he sense where the attacks are coming from instantly? If he's sensing the disturbance of the mist, it makes it seem like he almost has a sixth sense where he can just kind of feel wherever the mist is. So I think so. Yeah. Kel said, right now, uh, I'll explain how Weather Report could beat your shadow guy. Okay, makes sense. Matt said, also, would he be able to stop an interior attack? Do you mean an attack that comes from inside of him? Like, what do you mean? Then Kel said, what do you mean by an interior attack? Are you, like, using the darkness inside his skull to, like, kill him? Then Matt said, the darkness spike through the throat via darkness in the mouth. Okay. At first, I thought you were going to be like a spike into the brain or something. Okay, Beth is reacting to the character designs I sent her from Blaze Blue. She replied to one of my messages, but because on Facebook, when you reply to an attachment, it just says attachment and doesn't tell you which one. My head hurts because I sent her 3 pictures and I don't know which one she's referring to. Oh, is there a way for me to expand it? I hit the expand button, or at least what I thought was an expand button. I didn't see shit. Cool. Let's see. So let me see. Kel said, "Oh yeah, probably couldn't stop that, lol." Oh, it seems like Shadow Dark Gale uses hacks once again. Matt, how would Shadow Dark Gale fare against an interdimensional being made of like pure light or something? Would he be able to dick him? Uh, then Ryan said, "The president." Oh well, the Ryan's doing the whole political thing. Then Matt said, "Also, any shadow cast on Weather Guy could be a source for a shadow spike." I feel like energy being made of light who's interdimensional might be able to dick your guy, Matt. Let's see. So it seems like Beth vibed with those designs, which is good. All three of those characters are from Blaze Blue, which is a fighting game series. Let's see. Do 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 do. Then Kel said, "Wait, Matt, how would you deal with the snail?" Do 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 do. So Kel's is saying, "How would you deal with if Weather Report turned your character into a snail?" Matt said, "Get bodied probably, although I guess that would actually more be like a speed blitz scenario." Well, Weather Report has already been described as light speed. He has a mist sense, which he can use to sense disturbances in the mist. He can create any kind of weather, including rainbows, and using rainbows, he can turn you into snails. It just sounds like what happens is he uses his mist sense to find Shadow Dark Gale. Then, at light speed, manipulates the weather to create a rainbow, and then uses that rainbow to turn Shadow Dark Gale into a snail, just before you could really do anything. Um, Matt would have to react faster than Weather Report's light speed abilities in order to defeat him. And it just seems like Weather Report is designed to be able to speed blitz people with rainbows. Let's see. And then Matt said, who ultimately faster would win? He said, as for Snail, How does he target someone he can't sense? Um, oh, so Matt has the ability to dive into shadow, which he treats as another dimension. So as long as Matt is in the shadow or darkness dimension or whatever, the mist sense wouldn't necessarily be able to find him, but then Matt would still have to get weather report. You know what I mean? It's not enough to just dodge into the darkness dimension. He still has to defeat weather report somehow. Let's see. Then Matt said speed blitz for the interdimensional being, not weather report. Mm. I feel like if a character just had a passive aura, like as a shield, that could probably beat Matt, to be honest. I'm currently thinking of like the anti Shadow Dark Gale character. I can. Oh, shit, we hit an hour. I do have to end the stream, but don't worry. Next time, I'll be able to hit you guys up. Yo, thank you all once again for watching. If you like this video, make sure to smash that like button, favorite, comment, subscribe, and ding ding ding, ring that notification bell to be notified whenever we do these videos. This is your friend, your boy, Jet Black One Only, logging out, and peace.